Welcome to Rocks Talks. Let me put the sound up so I can hear you. I hope you get, oh, there we go, now here. Hope you all are doing well. It is a Monday morning. I'm coming a little bit later to you today. I mean, like an hour or so, probably because I just was awake early, but I just didn't want to get out of bed. And I thought, you know what? I can savor these moments, so I'm going to. All the while, lots to talk about. We got to talk about the Grammys, not the style. We're going to talk about who won. What the heck is an album and a record and a song of a year? Do you even know? And also the interesting speech that Dr. Dre gave, what people probably will be saying about it, and what people should be saying about it. Get y'all ready for that. Also, I'm going to let you know about what happened with the wonderful meeting Maizy on Saturday. And we're talking about goals. Yeah, we're going to talk about them. So let's start with the Grammys because people will be talking about the Grammys this week, and I want you to be in the know and well aware. First, no surprise to you, Taylor Swift took home her 13th and her 14th Grammy, and she did a record setting. I don't remember how many. Maybe it's 4, I want to say, album of the years, which I don't think that's ever happened before. The biggest news, I guess, when it comes to Tay-Tay is no, she didn't bring Travis Kelce. He's a week out from the biggest game of his season. But more seriously, she announced that she's coming out with new music in April and like brand new, not a Taylor's version of her music as she reclaims music, but brand new. So I know the Swifties are like freaking, which also makes me wonder if you are going to the second leg of the U.S. part of the Taylor Swift Eras tour, will you get some for new stuff, which is going to make people want to go even more if they missed it. I digress. Also, so there was Miley Cyrus had a big night. She won for the first time. She's never won a Grammy for Flowers. She can buy herself flowers, and after she won, she actually performed Flowers. And she said, and she like broke out in the song, and she's like, "I just won a Grammy!" So she was super excited. She looked really lovely, I thought. Now, interesting enough, she won best. I got to get this right because this is where it gets a little confusing and about like what we call all the things. And of course, my computer is going to like want to show me ads. I don't want ads. Okay, so break down the winners. Best of the ones you probably will be talking about. Best, it won't even move to show me. Okay, best album of the year was Taylor Swift for Midnights. Record of the year was Miley Cyrus for Flowers. She also won a pop album of the year, or pop record or album of the year, one of the two. And then song of the year was Billie Eilish, What Was I Made For, which if you've not heard that song is so haunting and beautiful. It's from the Barbie movie. And when Barbie's walking around trying to figure out what she was made for, that song plays. It is so haunting, and it's probably my favorite Billie Eilish song because the words are beautiful and it's so stunning. So I'm glad that she won. Okay, so let's break this down because you might be wondering, what do you mean Billie Eilish won Record of the Year and Miley Cyrus won Song of the Year? And Taylor won Album of the Year. Now, Album of the Year makes sense to me. It's like the collection, the whole thing. So the body of work of that album that has maybe 10, 12, 16 songs, ta-da. That's Taylor got that. But then we're talking about Record of the Year and Song of the Year. And you might be thinking, if you're old enough to be like around my age, well, a record back in the day would have more than one song on it, right? So why isn't a record an album? A little confused. Where do we put the record thing there? And kids today wouldn't even know what a record is. They don't even know what a CD is. Let's be real. So, but then you also have Song of the Year, which Song of the Year makes sense. Like, it's one song. I get it. So what's this record album nonsense? And once I tell you that, you're going to probably be like, what's the rest of it? So Album of the Year is for everything. Record of the Year is for one song. Album of the Year is for the entire record. Record of the Year is for one song. Okay, that makes sense. But then you go back to, if Record of the Year is for one song, how can Song of the Year be for one song? Like Grammys, there are enough words in the dictionary. We're putting new words in the dictionary all the time. You couldn't figure this out. So here's the difference between Record of the Year and Song of the Year. And if you knew all this before I said it, please mention in the comments. Say, I knew this, Roxanne. So Record of the Year is for the actual recording, the actual work of recording it. So like the people that were behind the scenes recording it and who recorded, the artist gets the Grammy, but it's also giving the yay to like the producers and the recording, like people in the studio, they're all winning essentially. Whereas Song of the Year is for the songwriter of the year. So sometimes the singer is not the person who wrote it, and so it's a little different. I know. You're supposed to, why didn't they say song? But they even have Songwriter of the Year. That is also another category. Interesting. And another win that I was excited about was and this is a new award, so I didn't really understand it, but it was like African, they called it like best African something. And I'm like, what is that? But the song I was down for. Best African music performance. I looked that up. Like, what does that mean? Is it someone who is a descendant from Africa? Because that could be all of us. So how does that work? It's people who use Afro beats in the music. And if you've not heard the song Water, Make Me Sweat, Make Me, by the name is Tyla. I don't know if she pronounced it that way. It is such a good, sexy song. It reminds me of like Sade, but a little more updated. It is a good song. You should listen to it. It's called Water by Tyla, Tyla. Also, I should note, Joni Mitchell performed for the first time in like years and years and years. She performed with Brandi Carlile. And also, Billy Joel performed what? I think he performed twice. And y'all, Celine Dion showed up. She gave the last award of the night. She's been having a lot of health issues, and I don't know if she'll ever get back to the stage. I hope she will. I've seen her perform. She's amazing, and she did give the last award of the night, and got, of course, standing on all that because it's Celine Dion, the greatest singer of the world in the world. So that was the Grammys in a nutshell. That's basically all you probably. Oh, hello. Then there's the biggest thing. Hello, Jay-Z. In my opinion. Okay, so Jay-Z gave a speech. He won the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award, and he and his daughter came up. His daughter, Blue, who might be like almost only 12 now, which is wild to me. Anyhow, in his speech, he did call out some things like people in the past who boycotted, including himself, who boycotted the Grammys when they didn't get it right on who they nominated and whatnot. And he also said, I boycotted, but I watched it. Was that really boycotting? Anyhow, alas, he even mentioned Beyonce and how Beyonce has won more Grammys than anyone in the history of anyone, 32, but she's never won Album of the Year, which is wild. And he's like, he said, I get that music is subjective, but even by the Grammys, your own standards, the fact that you've given her 32 Grammys, she's won 32 Grammys, and yet she's never won Album of the Year, doesn't make sense. And he's like, not to embarrass her, and he says this. And then, this is what he says. And I know people are probably like, oh, you're complaining about, no, but he makes a good point. But what he did say that I thought was so good at the very end, and I want to share this with you because this is the point. He said, okay, Grammys, we want you to get it right. You're not getting it right as he's winning an award, which is pretty ballsy, I will say. But he did it. And yet at one point he even said, like, some of you are going to feel like you're robbed tonight. Some of you will have been robbed. And some of you didn't even belong in the category. And then he was like, excuse me, I get nervous. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm hoping that'll refresh in time. So, okay, here's what he said though at the end. He said to everyone who feels like they're trying to do their thing. He said, you got to keep showing up until they give you all those accolades you think you deserve, until they call you chairman, until they call you a genius, until they call you the greatest of all time. I think that's great. So even though he's saying, hey, Grammys, you've gotten this wrong, we still need to keep showing up, and not just to the award shows, but to keep performing. Don't go, I didn't win, I'm out of here. Like, keep showing up. I think that's something we can keep creating. Keep doing your trade. Keep being the best you until they can't ignore you any longer. That's super poignant, not only for Black History Month, but in general for all of us. I don't care what color of the rainbow you're under. Something to remember and implement. Just keep showing up. I feel like that's what I'm doing by showing up right here with you. I show up every Monday through Friday. That's what we're doing. And we'll see where it goes. Adding to that, by the way, this month, so setting goals is something I want to talk to you about today. And I'm super excited. My friend Leah and we've gotten into this rhythm of just touching base every month and like setting goals. We used to go for coffee and do it. Obviously right now we're in different states. So I was like, it's time to do goals. She's like, let's do it. So we met and we talked for maybe 3 hours. No joke. It just flew by. So, but when I got up, I'm like, oh, that was a while. And we just talked about our goals for February, what we want to accomplish in our business and our life for February. And it felt really, really good to do that. And what I like about it is we determine it. And as we do, we give each other some, okay, if this is where you want, okay, have you thought about X, Y, Z? And through that fun moment with her, I have decided I am going to be sending out emails regularly this month. So I look out for that. If you're on my newsletter, awesome. And it's going to be fun. You're going to see some highlights of things you might have missed and all the things the content I'm putting out. You're also going to see some updates. We're going to be talking about the top things you need to know, just like how today, talking about the Grammys. So you don't need to go back and watch them. It was 3.5 hours, a 3.5 hour tour, giving you the highlights of things to know now, what's important right now. So look out for that. The first one should go out this week. I say should because, I've got a lot of family things going on, but I want to get it out this week. So it may, and I will let you know here the day that it goes out when it's solidified. Also, did I get it all? Boom, boom, goals. But I'm wondering, do you set goals? How does that work for you? Do you set long-term goals, short-term goals? What I love about this is I don't feel the pressure of it, and it can change whenever it needs to change. But it also gives me a little bit of focus for the month, what I want to accomplish, so that March is going to be how I want it to be, and so on and so forth. And I love it. So you're going to be seeing that. One of the goals, continuous, the goal last month was to start this podcast, or this show, I should say. And it's continuing on, obviously. Oh, well, yeah, don't worry, it is. But getting that off was great, and working that muscle. So you may see some changes to this, like enhancing it as we go. But I really want it to be organic because that's what makes it the greatest it is. So, and that way you can now go, I remember when you had a blank wall because you just moved in and you do it and you weren't wearing makeup. And yeah, anyway. So we got to go meet Maizy on Saturday. And y'all, it was what the body needs. Like, I just watched Scott hold those puppies and I'm like, we both need it, but man, he needs this so much now. He's such a dog lover. So we went and we were impressed with the setup and whatnot. And we got to meet the 2 baby girls from the litter. And they're just these little balls of love. I posted the picture somewhere. I should post it again. I'll post it again at Rocks Talk so you can see it in my stories. They were making everything very sanitary, so I didn't want to pull out my camera because we had double washed our hands and whatnot before we held the puppies. But the breeder did take a picture and send it to us. So I'll have to show you. But I knew exactly immediately which one was Maizy. I knew, and I've now gone back to the picture she sent us, and it was the same one. Now, what's interesting is they look so similar. These just little balls of black fur with some pretty brown in the little areas and these eyes and these button nose. But one looks at me differently. And so they were inside their little bed, and we're looking at them. We got down on the ground, and immediately I picked up Maizy because I knew it was her, and I held her. I didn't even look at her. I just held her on my heart. Meanwhile, Scott picked up Maisy's sister and was kissing her up and down and all around. And he said the words I knew he was going to say. He's like, I don't know how to choose. He's like, I can't choose, Wilson. I don't know how to choose. I'm like, don't you worry. I said, that's all right. I gotcha. And so we switched. And I think it was at that point he said, you don't choose. We switched eventually because I wanted him to hold Maizy. Didn't tell him it was Maizy yet. And I held the other one. The other one was lovely and precious, but wasn't Maizy. And that's when he said, I don't know how to choose. I'm like, it's okay, I already chose. I'm like, you're holding Maizy right now. He's like, I am? I said, yeah. And he's like, oh my goodness. He was kissing and loving on those pups. And what was so, so sweet about him in general. So we'd switch back at some point. I was holding Maizy and whatnot. And we were talking to the breeders. And he was I turned and he's talking to Maisy's sister and just saying to her, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry we can't take you home. I hope you have a wonderful life, and you have a wonderful family who takes care of you. And please know we love you anyway. And I am so sorry. He's literally kissing and telling this dog this. The dog knew. The dog knew. But it was so sweet. I was like, look at you. And the breeder's like, I can tell that Maisy's going to be loved. I'm like, oh yes. And spoiled. Oh yes. So it was a really good, and they let us stay probably longer than we should have, just loving on them. We met her dad and her mom, which means nothing to me because I'm not an expert when it comes to those things. We just want a healthy puppy, and you just don't really know that off the bat. I'm not a vet, so I can't look at, oh yeah, she's fine. But we get her in 2 weeks, and that is going to be a wonderful experience. That's going to be really great for us all, I know. So super excited about that. And just seeing him, he just, oh. Now when we got home, and we didn't get home for a while, we had to run errands and whatnot that day. We got home that evening. Baylor was not happy. And it wasn't that we were gone. It was, she was smelling. She was very like, what is going on? Something's odd. I let her smell me. I usually don't pet any other dogs or anything because I just won't do that to her. Now Scott will. I won't because he loves dogs. He can't help himself. And so I told her, I'm like, you're smelling Maizy. She's coming home in 2 weeks. We keep having this conversation with her so that hopefully it becomes, I hope she's going to love it. We saw this, I saw this, it's like they know, the Graham knows. I saw this pug reel, and you might have seen it, where this dog, this person says, I got my senior dog a pet, which I'm like, is Baylor a senior dog? According to Alexa, she is. Oh my goodness, it was so cute to see this pug with this baby pug and like how much they loved each other. I'm like, that's what I want. That's what I'm hoping for. So away we go. All right, I've taken a lot of your time today. It's so fun to be with you. Thank you so much. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your comments, your sweet messages, and just being part of this show and this community. It's nothing without you. So please keep commenting. Please keep subscribing. If this is the first time you're watching, subscribe, binge, all the things, and I'll see you tomorrow. Go be great. Bye.